They say dogs don't just love us, they watch over us. But what one dog did miles offshore left the Coast Guard speechless. Evan, a retired Navy technician living in Florida, loved spending his weekends fishing alone on his small boat. His only companion was Tide, a golden retriever who adored the ocean more than anything else. One calm afternoon, Evan and Tide went farther out than usual. The water was smooth, the sky clear. Nothing seemed dangerous. But the ocean can turn in seconds. A sudden grinding sound shook the boat. Evan looked down and realized they had struck a partially submerged metal container drifting just below the surface. The impact tore a jagged hole along the hull. Water rushed in. Evan grabbed the emergency pump, but the flooding was too fast. Within minutes, the boat was sinking. He radioed for help, but the signal cut out. They were too far from shore, and the battery had been damaged in the collision. Waves grew rougher. The stern dipped lower. Evan slipped while trying to reach the life raft release handle and slammed his shoulder against the deck. Pain shot down his arm. It was badly injured. He couldn't pull the handle. Tide barked frantically, circling him, then sprinted toward the bow and grabbed the emergency raft cord with his teeth. Evan stared in disbelief as Tide pulled, hard, planting his paws and yanking with every ounce of strength he had. With a snap, the raft deployed. But the danger wasn't over. As Evan tried to climb in, a strong wave tossed the sinking boat sideways, knocking him into the water. Disoriented and unable to use one arm, he struggled to stay afloat as the current dragged him. Then Tide leaped in after him. Tide swam behind Evan, wedged himself under Evan's good arm, and pushed, guiding him toward the drifting life raft. Evan's breaths were shallow, his strength fading, but Tide refused to let him slip under. It took everything the dog had, but he kept Evan above water until Evan managed to grab the edge of the raft. Once Evan was inside, Tide climbed in after him, shivering but refusing to leave his side. Hours passed. The raft drifted farther from the wreck. Evan grew weak and cold, fighting to stay awake. Tide sat pressed against him, using his own body heat to keep Evan warm. Just before sunset, the Coast Guard spotted the raft. One rescuer later said, "If that dog hadn't gotten him into that raft, we wouldn't be recovering a survivor." At the dock, Tide refused to be lifted out until Evan was safely on the stretcher. Even then, he rested his head on Evan's chest, exhausted but loyal to the very end. Later, Evan told reporters, "Tide didn't just save my life, he fought the ocean for me." Sometimes, the strongest lifeline you'll ever have is a determined dog who refuses to let the sea take you.